So before I start the video, I just want to say that I'm not a medical professional. Everything in this video is just personal experience or stuff I've pulled from the internet. Obviously consult your doctor if symptoms are very bad, not me. Anyways, let's get on with the video. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Schmucklebuds YouTube channel, and we're here with another advice video, a little bit different than my normal ones, but this is kind of a very important topic that I wanted to talk to you guys about. It's information that would have helped me when I was struggling with stuff, and I feel like it would help a lot of people that are feeling very alone right now. So yeah, without further ado, we're just gonna get into it. So why am I making a video about like disassociating after smoking? And it's because it's happened to me a lot, actually. It happened to me last night. It's something that happens frequently, and if you don't have the tools to know how to deal with it, it really can eat at you. And honestly, this can go beyond just smoking. This is just good advice on what to do after you've disassociated because of smoking. This is not something that's going to happen to everybody, but a lot of people that deal with anxiety or anxiety they never knew they had or had a panic attack while high, really need to hear. I went over a little bit of it in my tips for smoking with anxiety, which I'll put a link to up top. That's a very good video, especially if you're a newer smoker. However, this video is going to be more centered on like disassociation, so that would be just disassociating, so depersonalization and derealization, and the potential disassociation disorders that smoking can cause. It's stuff that's not really talked about, especially in the stoner community, and it's stuff that I kind of just want to educate people about, because, you know, I had it and I had no clue what was happening, so if I could help somebody else in this case, it would, you know, I feel like I'm doing something good. So yeah, what we're going to talk about in this video is what is disassociation, why does it happen when you smoke, what you can do to help, and then some closing thoughts I have on it. So without further ado, let's get into what is disassociation. So disassociation, according to Better Health, is a mental process of disconnecting from one's thoughts, feelings, memories, or sense of identity. Derealization will be like stuff out. I just want to say this real quick. It's not psychosis. Your reality checking is still in there. You're not seeing stuff. You're not having delusions. But stuff around you just does not feel real. But you know there's something wrong. That's derealization. And disassociation is feeling detached from oneself. For those that have taken psychedelics, I guess it'd be like an ego death, but think of that like sober. Some people love that feeling, others don't. And when you don't know why you're feeling this way, it's really scary. So, I mean, why does our mind do it? Well, mind.org states that we disassociate during trauma. So this is why people in car crashes, this is my favorite example of this is why people, when they get into car crash, they come out with adrenaline and they either black out or they don't feel their injuries right away. It's because your brain will disconnect you from reality, so you don't die of stress. They believe, I mean, everything's kind of a theory, but they believe it's a survival mechanism so we don't die of stress and we don't freak out when we're in a stressful situation. So why does this happen when we start smoking? Well, light disassociation can sometimes be an effect of THC. That's kind of just that's how you know you're high, is when you're disassociated. I've found some people love that feeling in weed, others don't. They kind of just put up with it and kind of like the body effects more. But THC can be a light disassociative. Hence why so many people have problems with it. And a lot of people don't realize that before they smoke. They don't realize that it can disassociate you. They either smoke too much, and then you're greening out, you're having a panic attack, and nothing feels real at that point. And that's very scary already when you're high, because you're already having existential thoughts, and then nothing else feels real while you're in a panic attack. It's very serious. Like I mentioned, it happens during panic attacks a lot, is when people that have panic attacks on weed, is a lot of the times the first time they ever experience depersonalization and disassociation. I've noticed that I can feel fine when I'm high and not panic, and I'll feel it the next day. I'll feel disassociated. Like you just feel off. A lot of people will describe this as like a ganja over or a weed hangover. Most of the times when they're talking about that, it's because they're disassociated, and it's just the way THC can change brain chemistry in some people. It's not, it's really, it is harmless, but you as a person feel so scared when you go through it. Um, a lot of people have it after they green out. A lot of experienced smokers will even disassociate, especially if they green out and they smoke too much. Just because you're an experienced smoker doesn't mean that you can't have a panic attack while high, and then boom, you're disassociated, you feel derealized and depersonalized. But you're not alone. I mean, a lot of people have it. Not everybody will, obviously. I mean, everybody's different, but a lot of people do go through dissociative problems after smoking for the first couple of times. And even me. I mean, I've been smoking for about 2 years now, and I still have moments where I either get too high, or I wake up just feeling groggy and disassociative. And that used to freak me out until I used the tips that I'm about to get into. The first one is really a generic one, and most people probably don't want to hear it, and that's drink water. We dehydrate you a lot, and if you're not on top of drinking water, that can already make you feel crappy, which is only going to make the depersonalization and your disassociation worse because you're in a worse mood, in a worse state, and your brain's going to keep you there because it still feels like it's in stress or trauma. Another example I have is just breathing exercises and meditation. Just sitting at home and just breathing and just controlling your breathing and calming yourself down can almost help ground you, which we'll get into grounding here in my next point. But breathing can help ground you and make you feel more real, if that makes sense. And so does grounding techniques. If you are struggling, I implore you to go on Google right now and look up something like disassociation grounding techniques. There's great ones on there. Some of them is just looking at like for example, my wall's yellow. It'd be just looking at different objects in your room and saying what color they are, how many of it there is, just stuff like that. Just being able to get your brain to connect to your environment around you. Is really helpful in pulling you out of that state because it's calming you down. You're able to calm down. If anybody deals with panic attacks, it's kind of like calming yourself out of a panic attack. I've noticed the same techniques really work. And then my most important tip is don't research on the internet. So you will find so many forum posts of people saying that they've had it for like a year or weeks or months, and they cannot stop feeling disassociated. That's because all they do, and you're already on a forum, most of the time they will just keep lurking that forum and trying to get some sort of reassurance that they're not alone in it. But what that does is it keeps you in this perpetual state where you're always thinking about it, and then you're obsessed about it, and you'll never come out of that feeling because you're always looking for it. Stay off the internet. Do not Google doctor it. If it is that bad, go to an actual general practitioner or an actual therapist and talk about it. Do not let Google diagnose you. It will have you believe that because you smoked once, got a little bit too high, you're now schizophrenic, even though you're panicking about it. If you are actually going psychotic, you would not research this stuff. This is a very normal fear that a lot of people that that get it complain about. That's one of their biggest fears. It almost becomes like there's actually a whole OCD. There's an entire OCD theme around it. It's a very common fear, and if you have the wherewithal to look up your symptoms and be aware of it, you're not going psychotic. Most people that are going psychotic don't have any reality checking normally, and they get very little insight to their illness until it's shown to them. If most of the time, if you're doom scrolling on Google, it's because you're just very anxious, and honestly, being very anxious is the exact opposite of having psychosis. You're almost too caught in reality, and you're trying to fight a feeling. And another thing is, don't be afraid to go sober. Even if you do smoke every day, taking a tea break is beneficial in not only helping with depersonalization and derealization, but a bunch of other stuff. A lot of people lose touch with their sober self, and honestly, if you're getting derealized and disassociated a lot with weed, I would recommend taking a long break. I know that's not the best answer, especially for people that are heavy smokers, but that really helped me the first time I went through it. Helps many people. About the stories about the same. You get stuck in this loop, and really the only way out of it is to kind of just figure things out, and you need to be sober for that. So yeah. So yeah, with all that being said, again, I'm not a medical professional. This is just personal experiences that helped me. I've been able to talk myself down off of a ledge multiple times. Um, it does feel like you're alone a lot, and I've noticed the best way to go about it is to kind of just try to live your life normally. A lot of people will dwell on it and obsess about it, and if you start obsessing and dwelling on it, it's not going away. You've the best remedy, the best cure for it is just living your life and not letting it defy you. That's why a lot of people still smoke with it, which I do want to get to. If we derealized you, do not keep smoking. Take a break. If you keep feeling disassociated after smoking, just like I said in my last video, just accept that smoking may not be for you. All right. The If you do want to keep smoking or you want to try to keep smoking, the best advice I have for you is to take it slow and easy. One hit of a joint, wait 15 minutes, that whole thing. That's the best way. Less is better. Especially if you have anxiety. I think weed can be great for anxiety in small doses. Too much, CBD is also good for derealizing. I haven't tried it myself. A lot of people say that they like it. Even a lot of people even say that THC cured their derealization and disassociation that they had before from past traumas. So it's weird, but just know you're not alone. Other people have this reaction. But just try not to think of it. If it gets worse, don't be afraid to go to a doctor or a therapist. More of a therapist than a doctor, because a doctor will most likely just prescribe you antidepressants, which aren't bad, but it's definitely not the first scenario you want to do, in my personal opinion. Obviously not medical opinion at all. I would try to do talk therapy and stuff like that first. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. Very weird, kind of one-shot it, not a lot of editing, I'm sorry, but I kind of just want to have a one-on-one talk, because this is a topic that's very important to me. It's something I wish was talked about more in the mental health scheme. Nobody talks about dissociation disorders. It always gets lumped in with depression and anxiety, and at times I think it can be its own disorder. I mean, if you read anything online, it attacks people that have never had anxiety or depression problems before. And it can just come naturally too. It's something I wish we'd get more research. But that's for a different time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Next video should be normal content, but I felt that this was a pretty important thing to talk about. So yeah, without further ado, I will see you guys later, and have happy highs. And if you're recovering from from disassociating, I wish you good luck. Just try to follow these steps. Know you're not alone, and that it's just a normal reaction that your brain has. Thank you guys. See you later.